Have you ever tried to use an English idiom and people looked at you like you just said something completely wrong? Or someone told you, break a leg, and you thought, wait, why would they wish me pain? It's confusing, right? You study English for years, and suddenly one phrase makes no sense at all. The problem isn't you. It's that idioms are not logic. They're culture, emotion, and history all packed into a few words. But here's the good news. Once you know the stories behind idioms, everything changes. You'll finally understand why English speakers say these strange things, and you'll know exactly when to use them. By the end of this lesson, idioms won't sound like puzzles. They'll sound like tools that make your English colorful, expressive, and natural. So stay with me, because today we're going to unlock the hidden stories inside English. What do cats, beans, and legs have in common? Nothing, right? But in English, each one hides a secret story. Why do people say, let the cat out of the bag when they reveal a secret? Why is break a leg actually something positive? And how can beans possibly mean truth? In this video, you'll discover the surprising history behind these strange phrases. And I promise, once you hear the stories, you'll never forget their meanings again. So, ready to open the bag and let the truth, or should I say the beans, spill out? If you've ever wanted to sound more natural, more fluent, and more alive when speaking English, this lesson is for you. Because today, we're going to master tricky English idioms using something far more powerful than memorization: stories. You'll learn to feel idioms, not just repeat them. You'll discover their meanings through imagination, and you'll start to use them like a native speaker, with confidence and rhythm. So take a deep breath, relax, and let's turn confusing phrases into fluent expressions that make your English shine. Unlock your fluent English. Let's be honest for a moment. Idioms can feel impossible sometimes. You hear someone say, spill the beans, or hit the sack, and you think, wait, what? What do beans or sacks have to do with anything? And in that moment, your confidence drops. You start to wonder if your English will ever sound natural, if maybe native speakers just think differently. But here's the truth. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. You just need to understand how they express emotion through language. And idioms are one of the most beautiful ways they do that. Idioms are not random phrases. They are tiny stories that carry emotion, humor, and culture. When you understand them, you connect more deeply. You laugh at jokes, you feel the rhythm of conversation, and you finally stop translating in your head. Imagine speaking English like a storyteller, your words painting pictures that make people smile or nod in recognition. Imagine using phrases that show confidence, creativity, and personality. That's what we're going to unlock today. By the end of this lesson, idioms will no longer be strange or confusing. They'll become your allies, and you'll begin to speak English that feels real. Not perfect, not robotic, but warm, expressive, and fluent, like you. What are idioms, really? Idioms are like small windows into a culture. When you open one, you don't just learn a phrase, you see how people think. But let's start simple. What exactly is an idiom? An idiom is a group of words that together mean something different from the words themselves. You can't translate it word by word. You have to understand the meaning behind it. For example, if I say, "It's raining cats and dogs," you know there are no cats or dogs falling from the sky. It just means it's raining heavily. If I say, "That exam was a piece of cake," it doesn't mean there was dessert involved. It means it was easy. So idioms are expressions that paint pictures in your mind. They make language colorful, emotional, alive. But here's why most English learners struggle with them. They try to memorize idioms like vocabulary lists. Break a leg means good luck. Spill the beans means tell a secret. The brain doesn't like that. It's boring. It's mechanical. Our brains remember stories, not definitions. When there's emotion, surprise, or humor, your brain says, "Hey, that's important. Let's keep it." That's why in this lesson, we're going to learn idioms through stories. Each idiom hides a little piece of history, something funny, something human. And when you learn the story, you'll never forget the idiom again. Let me show you how it works. Take the idiom break a leg. At first, it sounds like something painful, right? But when you understand that it comes from theater, where actors used to say the opposite of what they wanted to avoid bad luck, it suddenly makes sense. Now, when you hear break a leg, you remember a theater stage, a nervous actor, and people cheering, "You can do it." That's how your brain learns naturally, through images and emotion, not grammar rules. So, from now on, don't study idioms like cold facts. Instead, think of each one as a short story, a secret code that English speakers use to express something bigger than the words themselves. Because when you speak with idioms, your English starts to flow. It sounds alive. It sounds real. You stop sounding like a student and start sounding like a storyteller. Now that you understand what idioms are and why they matter, let's bring them to life. In the next section, I'll tell you 3 fascinating stories, each one connected to a popular idiom. By the end of those stories, you won't just know what they mean, you'll feel them. Let's bring idioms to life. Because words become powerful when you can see them. Today, I'll tell you 3 short stories. Each story hides a famous English idiom. And once you know the story, you'll never forget the meaning again. Story 1, break a leg. Imagine this. You're standing behind a curtain. Your hands are shaking. You hear the crowd waiting. You're about to perform for the first time. Someone comes up to you and whispers, "Break a leg." Wait, what? Break a leg? That sounds horrible. But here's the story. Long ago, in old theaters, actors believed that saying good luck would actually bring bad luck. So they started saying the opposite, break a leg. It became a secret way to wish success without tempting fate. And there's more. When an actor gave a great performance, they would bow many times. and every bow broke the line of the leg. So, break a leg became a symbol of success, meaning, do your best, you're going to shine. Repeat after me. Break a leg means good luck. Break a leg before your presentation. Now you'll never forget it because you can see the stage, the lights, and the courage. Story 2, Spill the Beans. A long time ago, in ancient Greece, people voted using beans. White beans meant yes. Black beans meant no. All the votes were kept in a jar until the decision was ready to be revealed. But sometimes, someone would accidentally drop the jar. The beans would roll all over the floor, and the secret was out. From that moment, spill the beans meant reveal a secret, meaning to tell something that was supposed to stay private. Example, my friend spilled the beans about my surprise party. She couldn't keep it to herself. Now picture the scene, beans rolling, people gasping, and you'll always remember the meaning. Story 3, Under the Weather. Our last story takes us to the sea. Imagine you're on a big ship during a storm. Waves crash. Rain falls hard. You start feeling dizzy. The sailors know what to do. They send you below the deck where the wind can't reach you. You're now under the weather. That phrase became a sailor's way to say, I'm not feeling well, meaning feeling sick or tired. Example, I'm feeling a bit under the weather today. I think I need some rest. Now, every time you hear this idiom, you'll feel the ocean, the rain, the rocking ship, and you'll remember exactly what it means. Minigame. Guess the meaning. Let's see how strong your idiom memory is. I'll say an idiom. You guess what it means. Ready? Hit the sack. Let the cat out of the bag. Piece of cake. Here come the answers. Hit the sack means go to bed. Let the cat out of the bag means reveal a secret. Piece of cake means something easy to do. Nice. If you got them right, give yourself a little clap. And if you didn't, don't worry. Every time you hear an idiom, your brain is building a connection. It's like planting a seed. The story helps it grow. So now you've met 3 idioms and 3 stories you'll never forget. You've seen the stage, the beans, and the storm. You've felt the meaning. That's how fluency grows, not through memorization, but through connection. Common mistakes and pro tips. You're doing great. But before we move on, let's talk about a few common mistakes learners make with idioms and how you can avoid them. Mistake 1, translating idioms word by word. Many learners try to translate idioms directly into their language, but idioms are not math, they're emotion. If you translate break a leg or spill the beans literally, the meaning disappears. Pro tip, don't translate, visualize. See the story in your mind. Imagine the actor on stage or the beans on the floor. That's how your brain remembers. Mistake 2, using too many idioms at once. Sometimes students think, if I use more idioms, I'll sound more fluent. But no, that makes your English sound unnatural. Pro tip, use idioms like spices in cooking. Mistake 3, using idioms in the wrong situation. Some idioms are too informal for work or emails. Piece of cake might be fine with friends, but not in a job interview. Pro tip. If you're not sure, listen to how native speakers use it first in movies, podcasts, or YouTube videos like this one. 1 or 2 idioms in a conversation are enough to sound natural and confident. Every time you learn an idiom, make your own sentence with it. Or better, connect it to a personal memory. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the memory. You did it. You've just unlocked the real meaning behind some of the most confusing English idioms, not by memorizing lists, but by feeling their stories. Now, before you go, I want to leave you with a small challenge. It's simple, but powerful. Your challenge: pick one idiom from today's lesson. Maybe break a leg, or spill the beans, or under the weather. Create your own short story or real-life example using it. It could be something that happened to you or something funny you imagine. Write it in the comments below. I'll read your story and maybe even feature it in a future video. Here's why this challenge matters. When you use an idiom in your own story, it becomes yours. It's no longer something you studied. It's something you can feel, and that's what fluency truly is. Fluency is not grammar. It's not perfection. It's connection. It's expressing your thoughts and emotions with confidence, even if you make mistakes along the way. So keep practicing. Say your idioms aloud. Record yourself. Laugh when you mix them up. That's part of the process. Because every time you use English with emotion, you grow, and every step you take brings you closer to real fluency. Remember this: fluency is not perfection. It's practice in motion. Thank you for learning with me today. If you enjoyed this lesson, give it a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more stories that make English feel simple, emotional, and alive. And now, before you go, break a leg in your next conversation.